One quiet moment in the episode 6 trailer changes everything, and most people won't notice it until it's too late. This is not just another episode. This is the moment where control slips, trust breaks, and the future of Season 2 quietly takes a darker turn. The Landman Season 2 Episode 6 trailer does something very smart. It does not show chaos. It shows calm. But this calm feels heavy, like the air before a storm. The trailer opens with slow movement, careful looks, and long pauses. These moments are not empty. They are loaded with pressure. Every character seems to be holding something back, and that is what makes this episode dangerous. The power struggle is no longer loud. It is silent, and silence in this world is never safe. What stands out first is how the trailer avoids clear answers. We see faces instead of actions. We see reactions instead of decisions. This tells us that episode 6 is about internal conflict more than open war. Characters are thinking, weighing options, and hiding fear behind confidence. The show wants us to feel uncomfortable without telling us why. That is intentional. Episode 6 is setting up a shift that cannot be stopped once it starts. There is also a clear change in pacing. Earlier episodes moved fast, jumping from deal to deal and problem to problem. This trailer slows everything down. That slowdown is a warning sign. It means the story is narrowing its focus. Instead of many small problems, one big problem is taking shape. And when the story slows like this, it usually means someone is about to lose control in a way they cannot fix. Another important detail is how often characters are shown alone. Even when others are nearby, they feel isolated. This tells us that trust is fading. Everyone is protecting themselves now. Episode 6 is not about teamwork. It is about survival. The trailer makes it clear that alliances are weak and loyalty has limits. The question is not who will betray who, but who will move first. By the end of the trailer, nothing has exploded yet. No deal has fully collapsed. No war has openly started. But the ground is already cracking. Episode 6 is the episode where tension becomes direction. After this point, there is no going back to how things were. The story is choosing a path, and it is not a safe one. One of the most powerful elements of the episode 6 trailer is what it shows without words. Small looks, slow breathing, and long silences tell a deeper story than any argument could. This episode is not about shouting. It is about control slipping quietly. You can feel it in the way characters hesitate before speaking. They are no longer sure of their power. The trailer shows moments where decisions are delayed instead of made. This is important because delay is a sign of fear. People delay when every option leads to loss. Episode 6 is built around that feeling. Every move has a cost, and every choice creates a new enemy. The characters know this, and that knowledge is weighing on them. Another key detail is how conversations feel unfinished. Lines are cut short. Reactions come instead of answers. This suggests that real plans are being kept hidden. Episode 6 is not about honesty. It is about masks. Everyone is saying just enough to survive the moment while planning something else entirely. This creates a dangerous environment where no one knows the truth. The trailer also hints that past decisions are catching up. Small choices made earlier in the season are now creating big problems. Episode 6 feels like a checkpoint. The story pauses to show us the damage already done. This is the episode where characters realize they may have gone too far, but it is already too late to turn back. There is also a strong feeling of pressure from outside forces. The business world, the land, and the money are no longer neutral tools. They are weapons now. Episode 6 shows how these forces push characters into corners. When people are cornered, they stop playing fair. The trailer quietly prepares us for actions that will shock us later. This section of the story is about awareness. Characters are starting to see the full picture, and that picture is not good. Episode 6 is the moment when denial ends. From here on, every step forward comes with fear attached to it. The episode 6 trailer carefully shows how trust has become a risk instead of a strength. In earlier episodes, trust helped move deals forward. Now, trust feels like a weakness. The way characters look at each other tells us they are measuring danger, not friendship. This shift is critical to understanding where the story is going. We see signs that alliances are fragile. People stand together, but their eyes do not match their words. Episode 6 is where cracks in partnerships become visible. These cracks do not break things immediately, but they weaken everything. One wrong move will shatter what is left. Another important detail is how power is no longer clear. In earlier episodes, it was easy to see who was in charge. The trailer for episode 6 blurs those lines. Authority feels unstable. Even strong characters seem unsure. This uncertainty creates space for unexpected moves. When power is unclear, anyone can strike. The trailer also hints at secrets that are about to surface. We do not see the secrets directly, but we feel their weight. Characters act like they are guarding something important. Episode 6 may not reveal everything, but it will start the process. Once secrets begin to leak, control disappears fast. Money and land are no longer just goals. They are pressure points. Episode 6 shows how these elements are used to force decisions. Characters are pushed to choose sides even when both sides lead to trouble. This makes the episode feel tight and intense, even without action scenes. This part of the story is about imbalance. Everything feels slightly off, and that feeling grows with every scene. Episode 6 is not explosive on the surface, but it destabilizes everything underneath. That is often more dangerous than open conflict. The final feeling left by the episode 6 trailer is inevitability. Something is coming, and no one can stop it now. The episode is not teasing a surprise for shock value. It is setting up consequences. The story is making it clear that actions will finally matter in a lasting way. We see characters standing at emotional edges. They are tired, tense, and stretched thin. Episode 6 is where patience runs out. People stop waiting for the perfect moment and start acting out of fear or anger. These actions will not be clean or smart. They will be desperate. The trailer also suggests that the cost of power is about to be paid. Characters who fought to gain control now realize what it demands from them. Episode 6 asks a hard question. Was it worth it? And the answer may destroy what they were trying to protect. Another strong theme is loss. Not just loss of money or land, but loss of safety and certainty. Episode 6 feels like the last moment before things fall apart. After this, relationships will change forever. Some will not survive. By the end of the trailer, the message is clear. Episode 6 is not the climax, but it is the turning point. The story steps onto a darker road, and there is no return. This episode reshapes the rest of Season 2, not through big explosions, but through quiet decisions that cannot be undone. This is why Episode 6 matters. It is the episode where tension becomes destiny. The Episode 6 trailer makes it clear that pressure is no longer coming from one direction. It is coming from everywhere at once. Every character shown feels boxed in, not by enemies alone, but by their own past choices. This episode is about the weight of responsibility finally becoming too heavy to carry. The trailer shows faces that look tired, careful, and alert at the same time. That combination tells us something important. These people know danger is close, but they do not know where it will come from. One of the strongest signals in the trailer is hesitation. Characters pause before answering questions. They look away instead of holding eye contact. These moments matter because hesitation means doubt. Episode 6 is not about confidence anymore. It is about uncertainty. People who once acted fast are now slowing down, and that slowdown is dangerous in this world. When powerful people hesitate, others sense weakness. The trailer also shows how control is starting to slip in quiet ways. There is no shouting or open panic, but control does not always disappear loudly. Sometimes it fades through small cracks. A delayed decision. A forced smile. A deal that sounds right but feels wrong. Episode 6 focuses on these cracks. The show wants us to notice how fragile things have become without spelling it out directly. Another important detail is how responsibility feels isolating. Characters are surrounded by people, yet they feel alone. This tells us that leadership has become a burden rather than a position of strength. Episode 6 explores the cost of being in charge. Every decision affects land, money, and lives. The trailer suggests that this weight is starting to crush even the strongest figures. There is also a sense that time is running out. The trailer does not rush, but the mood suggests urgency. Problems that could once be delayed now demand answers. Episode 6 is where waiting becomes a mistake. Characters who hesitate too long may lose everything. This pressure forces them toward choices they would normally avoid. Past promises also come back into focus. The trailer hints that old words and quiet agreements are being remembered and questioned. Episode 6 is not just about new threats. It is about unfinished business. Deals made earlier in the season now carry consequences. What once felt like a smart move now feels risky. The emotional tone of the trailer tells us that denial is ending. Characters are beginning to accept the reality of their situation. They may not like it, but they can no longer ignore it. Episode 6 marks the moment where hope turns into calculation. Survival becomes more important than pride. By the end of this section of the story, pressure has reshaped everyone involved. No one is standing comfortably anymore. Episode 6 pushes characters closer to the edge, not through action, but through realization. They now understand what is at stake, and that understanding changes how they move forward. The Episode 6 trailer quietly shows that trust is no longer a foundation in this world. It has become a gamble. Every interaction feels measured, as if characters are choosing words the same way they choose moves on a chessboard. Nothing is said without reason, and nothing is shared without fear. Episode 6 lives in this space where people stand close together but think very far apart. What feels different now is that alliances no longer bring comfort. Earlier in the season, partnerships offered protection and power. In the trailer, those same partnerships feel heavy and unstable. People work together because they must, not because they want to. This shift matters because forced loyalty always breaks under pressure. Episode 6 sets the stage for that break. The trailer hints that everyone is hiding something. These are not small secrets meant to protect feelings. These are strategic secrets meant to protect survival. Characters speak in half-truths and vague promises. They leave sentences unfinished. Episode 6 is not interested in honesty. It is interested in leverage. Whoever holds the most information holds the most power, and everyone knows it. Another key element is how authority feels unclear. No one fully leads anymore. Power is scattered, and that makes the environment dangerous. When leadership is strong, rules are clear. When leadership weakens, people test limits. Episode 6 shows characters testing those limits quietly, pushing just enough to see what they can get away with. This is often how conflict truly begins. The trailer also suggests that loyalty has an expiration date. People who once stood firm now seem ready to walk away if it benefits them. This does not mean they are evil. It means they are realistic. Episode 6 explores how survival instincts take over when systems fail. Morality becomes flexible when stakes rise. Money and land are no longer shared goals. They are dividing lines. The trailer shows how these elements pull people in opposite directions. What benefits one person threatens another. Episode 6 forces characters to confront this truth. Cooperation becomes harder when success for one means a loss for someone else. There is also a growing sense that someone will be sacrificed. The trailer never says who, but the mood makes it clear that not everyone will make it through this phase untouched. Episode 6 is where the group dynamic shifts. Someone will be blamed, pushed aside, or used as protection. This is how unstable systems protect themselves. Emotionally, this section of the story feels cold. Not because characters lack feeling, but because they are suppressing it. Emotion is dangerous in a world built on deals and pressure. Episode 6 shows people choosing restraint over honesty, silence over truth. That choice creates distance, and distance creates mistakes. By the time episode 6 unfolds fully, trust will no longer be assumed. It will have to be proven moment by moment. This episode does not destroy alliances immediately, but it weakens them enough that one wrong step will cause collapse. The trailer prepares us for a story where no bond is safe and no promise is permanent. The episode 6 trailer makes it clear that the conflict is no longer just about business or control. It has become personal, and that shift changes everything. When power fights stay professional, there are rules. When they turn personal, those rules disappear. Episode 6 sits exactly at that breaking point. You can feel it in the way characters react, not just to threats, but to each other. One of the strongest signals in the trailer is emotional restraint. Characters are clearly angry, frustrated, or hurt, but they refuse to show it fully. This is dangerous because buried emotion does not disappear. It builds pressure. Episode 6 is about that pressure reaching a level where it starts to leak through actions instead of words. Small decisions become emotional reactions instead of smart moves. The land itself feels heavier in this episode. Earlier, land was a resource, a goal, something to be managed. Now it feels symbolic. It represents pride, legacy, and ownership. Episode 6 shows how losing land is no longer just a financial loss. It feels like losing identity. That is why characters react so strongly even when they try to stay calm. The trailer also suggests that pride is becoming a weakness. Characters who once felt secure now feel challenged. They are no longer fighting only to win, but to avoid humiliation. Episode 6 shows how pride pushes people to make risky choices. When ego enters the equation, logic often leaves. This is where smart strategies begin to fall apart. Another important layer is retaliation. The trailer hints that past actions are about to be answered. Not immediately and not loudly, but deliberately. Episode 6 shows characters remembering slights, broken promises, and quiet betrayals. Retaliation does not always come as revenge. Sometimes it comes as withdrawal, sabotage, or refusal to help when help is needed most. Family and personal ties also feel strained. Even when they are not directly shown, their influence is clear. Episode 6 is where personal relationships start to interfere with professional judgment. This makes every choice more complicated. Helping one person may harm another. Protecting family may destroy business. The trailer suggests that these conflicts are no longer avoidable. There is also a growing sense that violence does not have to be physical to be effective. Episode 6 shows emotional and strategic violence taking center stage. Cutting someone out of a deal, leaving them exposed, forcing them to face consequences alone. These moves hurt just as much as open attacks, sometimes more. The mood of the trailer feels tight and unforgiving. There is no relief, no humor, no sense of safety. Episode 6 removes comfort from the story. Characters are no longer protected by routine or habit. Every moment feels unstable. This instability is what makes the episode dangerous. By this point in the season, characters are no longer asking what the best move is. They are asking what move they can live with. Episode 6 pushes them to act based on emotion, fear, and pride instead of patience. Once that line is crossed, the damage becomes permanent. This section of the story is about transformation. Not sudden, dramatic change, but slow emotional hardening. Episode 6 reshapes how characters see each other. Trust turns into suspicion. Cooperation turns into competition. What once felt like a shared journey now feels like a battlefield where everyone stands alone. The episode 6 trailer leaves behind a feeling that nothing is stable anymore. Not the deals, not the relationships, and not the future plans. This episode does not end with answers. It ends with consequences waiting to happen. Episode 6 feels like the point where the story stops warning the characters and starts testing them. What they choose now will shape the rest of season 2. One of the strongest ideas running through this episode is inevitability. The trailer suggests that certain outcomes can no longer be avoided. Characters sense it even if they do not say it out loud. There is a quiet acceptance mixed with tension, as if they know the ground beneath them is already shifting. Episode 6 is where denial finally disappears. Reality takes its place. The trailer also hints that someone is about to cross a line they cannot step back from. This does not have to be a violent act. Sometimes crossing a line means making a decision that destroys trust forever. Episode 6 builds toward that kind of moment. A choice that feels necessary in the moment, but impossible to undo later. These are the decisions that define a season. Another important element is isolation. By episode 6, characters are no longer protected by numbers or shared responsibility. Everyone feels exposed. The trailer shows people standing alone, framed separately, even when others are nearby. This visual language tells us that the safety net is gone. When mistakes happen now, there will be no one to soften the fall. The cost of power becomes clearer than ever. Characters who fought to gain control now realize how much it demands from them. Power brings fear, constant pressure, and the risk of losing everything in one move. Episode 6 forces characters to confront whether holding power is worth the personal damage it causes. This question lingers heavily over the episode. There is also a sense that the story itself is narrowing. Episode 6 reduces the number of possible outcomes. Paths that once felt open are now closed. The trailer shows this through limited settings, repeated faces, and focused conversations. The story is guiding us toward a single direction, and that direction is dangerous. Trust, by this point, is almost gone. Characters still speak to each other, but belief is missing. Every promise sounds temporary. Every agreement feels fragile. Episode 6 shows a world where words have lost their strength. Only actions matter now, and those actions will echo through the remaining episodes.